Okay, I'll take over then.
Go ahead.
I was elected to this. I don't know, a few of you maybe not know who I am.
Who are you?
Bill Flaherty. You happen to know who I am?
You're Bill Flaherty.
Yes, I am.
You didn't know that answer?
No, you're Marissa's brother.
No.
No, my dad, okay, and Aunt Marie were brothers and sisters.
Yeah, he's
Well,
on
Bill
Bill's
Flaherty,
son.
the dad,
Yeah.
this is his son.
Well,
Now you
know,
say that,
I'm
you
Joanne.
look like the Flahertys.
Yeah, well, he died 2 years ago. He was 99. And he was born in 1913 and died 2013.
Oh, wow.
5 months short of
Well,
us.
I'm short.
Well,
That was
I'm
hundred.
Joanne Whalen.
I know
my
who you
brother
are.
and Tom Whalen.
I know that.
Yes.
You just didn't recognize me.
Hey,
No.
But anyway, that's who I am.
when Jack brought Marie to our house the first time, it was a picnic. He had her like a god.
Yeah, that was a few years ago.
Few years ago. But I think her sister and
Martha,
Martha
okay.
and got them together or something.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
I
didn't know
can't
that
believe we
story.
don't know that.
No?
How do we not know how they met?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, they didn't always tell us everything.
No.
Okay, I found that out many years later.
Oh, yeah.
My dad never, so many things he didn't tell me, and then when he got older, and I got older, I started realizing, boy, we gotta get this information out.
Oh, yeah.
So I would ask him a lot of things, you know. So I have a lot of stories,
Oh, do you? Okay,
yes,
let's
but
hear it.
I'm only gonna say for myself personally, I'll do it first before I read from Amy and Maureen. And them. But the two things that I stick out with me was in 1967 I came home for Christmas, and I was in the Navy unexpectedly. And I came home and I went into my house and there was nobody there. And my parents and my brothers and sisters had all gone to Baltimore for the holidays.
Oh, my Lord.
So
And
I
didn't
was
tell
like,
you.
and I was 21 years old. And I thought, wow, Christmas, nobody's here. And Aunt Marie called me up, knew I was home, and she said, would you come up here? Do you remember Christmas Eve when I came up there?
Yeah.
I spent Christmas Eve at Aunt Marie's and Uncle Jack's and everything with everybody up there.
Oh, be darned.
And that stuck with me for all these years. That really made my day. I'd never been by myself at Christmas,
Oh, man.
you know. And they didn't expect me to come home,
Oh, yeah, and see there.
Right.
you know. So they went to Baltimore for my mom's sister when we went down there with those families.
Oh,
So that was always one of my favorite stories. And the other one just happened recently, about maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Colleen called me and says, well, we had a foot of snow, okay? And the
Snow
power
again.
went out on her apartment on 8th Street. So nobody could get in and out. The road was closed and it was cold that night. So I went down to the fire department, got the 4-wheel drive, went over and picked her up and took her to my house. So she spent the whole day there with Vic, my wife, who's in the back there, okay? I'll never forget this because I hadn't thought of it this way. But ever since then, it fit. But when later that evening, I went down and checked and the power was back on. So by now I didn't have a 4-wheel drive, I could get my car in. So I went over to the house and I picked her up and Vic came to me. She said, you know, she had spent the day with her the whole afternoon. She said, you know, she is the sweetest lady ever. And I thought to me, that fit perfectly. So anytime ever since then, when I would talk to my family or friends and we would talk about our family and stuff, I always say, my Aunt Marie was the sweetest lady ever. And that's my description of her. So
it's a good one.
those are my two little ones. But this one's for Amy.
Amy's my daughter.
Yes,
Oh, where is she?
right there.
Right there beside you.
This is Amy.
And she wrote this. She says, I have a couple memories. Overnight stays at Grandma's house, McDonald's for lunch the following day. She always ordered a salad and an orange juice. I always think of her when I drink orange juice. Her Buick Regal with the Afghans on the seat, it always smelled like a new car, and it was a good car, and I think Mike got that car. Who got that car for her? Somebody
She
did.
sold it to somebody.
I sold it for her.
You did, yeah.
Yeah, she called me up and she said, I wanna sell my car, and I said, well, why? She says, I don't feel comfortable driving anymore. So I sold it to a friend of mine.
Oh, my
So,
God.
but that was so good, because it's hard sometimes to quit driving. But she
But
realized,
she made the,
so that was the Buick Regal. Her always bringing Dunkin' Donuts when visiting. My boys adored her. When she lived at Mom's in Pitcairn, on one occasion, she ate pudding after her lunch, and 3-year-old Finney went in her room and exclaimed, "Great job, great Grammy. You ate all your pudding." You will be forever missed, Grandma. Your beauty and grace resonated from you. If I only ever became half as wonderful as you were, I will consider myself blessed. You are a treasure, and I am grateful for the times we spent together and all the time my boys got to be with you. Love you forever, Grandma. That's for me.
Oh, that's good.
Now, Maureen, dearest Grandma, I thank you for giving this family 98 years of your life. You are truly the most angelic human I have ever known. Just thinking of you makes me smile and happy. You are so selfless, and kind words can describe the love I feel for you in your hearts. Alexandria and I are going to miss you. I would always say, if you want to get into a good mood, call Grandma. You were always so positive and loving. Never a negative word to say about anything or anyone. You will be missed. You are the closest thing to perfection. We love you, Grandma, and we'll see you in heaven. Love you always, Maureen and Alexandria. And for Michael Jr., okay, one fond memory of Grandma I would like to share. Whenever my sisters and I thought we were having a bad day or dealing with an issue, we would say to each other, if you want to be encouraged, call Grandma. We wouldn't tell her we were down or anything, but after listening to this amazing woman speak, you would feel her love for you in ways she spoke to you. You always hung up the phone and felt like a new person. Love you always, Grandma, from Michael. Morgan and Michael recall how wonderful she was when Grandma came down to Florida to celebrate her 90th birthday. And Kelly, I remember when Pap-Pap and Grandma would come to Florida to visit us, and they would walk me to the bus stop in the morning. And then, when I got off the bus in the afternoon, they would be waiting for me. Grandma and I would play cards together. I loved it when Grandma would scratch my back. And Leah.
right here.
Oh. When we would sleep over at her house, she would always be in the kitchen in the morning wearing her house coat over her pajamas. And we never knew what cereal was in the box because she always mixed them. Very funny memory. When I was getting married and she told me I needed to stop eating or I wouldn't fit in my dress. And from Gary. When I was asked to write down a good memory of Grandma, I was confused about how I could pick out just one good memory of all the tons of memories we all have of her. Anyone who knew her knew how she touched everyone's lives in some way or another. From a stranger in a store to a waitress in a restaurant, she cared and affected everyone. So I guess my best memory of Grandma is actually every memory.
Good job, Joey.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Will.
She's the prettiest woman that,
Oh, yes.
that our group of
Yes.
families ever knew.
Oh, yes.
No doubt about
She
it.
was. She was up at top.
Oh, yeah.
I remember when he first lived over right next to Brenzel's in Sheridan Terrace there. Uncle Jack, of course, he cut hair, and there was nothing like a free haircut. Everybody lined up with a free haircut, but you know, I had two brothers, and we'd go over there and sit on the steps going downstairs, and you know how young kids are. I mean, they're carrying on. And there might be a half dozen boys in there raising hell, and I never remember Aunt Marie even getting upset about anything. She was always just,
Yeah.
like she was in complete control, you know. And like you say, she was a beautiful woman.
Oh, yeah, no question about it. Yeah.
Did your mother make the fudge, or did your mother?
Yeah, that was Aunt Chris, still makes it.
Well, I wasn't sure whether your mother or whether, we had a party one time over our house, and she brought fudge. Well, all the food was out, she couldn't find her fudge. She was running around like a little red banty rooster, wondering where her fudge was and why it wasn't. That's not like Mom.
I just remember her at your wedding, she was running up and down the hill with her fudge. She
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
everybody to try her fudge.
How old's the baby?
9 months.
9 months.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
He's the one that had the open heart surgery.
Look at that.
He had open heart surgery at 6 days.
That's the little one that was on.
Yeah,
Did you tell me you have another one in the hospital too?
that's Leah's little baby.
Piper?
Yeah.
Aw.
Yes.
Big guy.
Ashley, memory?
Ashley, do you want to share any memory?
There's so many. I don't know where to
Ashley,
begin.
Give us one.
Ashley, took care of my mom in Baldock. And she and Ashley, if any of you read the obituary, I said at the end, the name Ashley, and it's her.
Oh, that's that.
Because they formed a bond mainly because of Ashley's goofiness.
True.
But she just, my mom tended to be more serious, and she was always a lady. She wasn't.
She wasn't a
crazy
goofball like
She
Ashley.
wasn't goofy like Ashley. But Ashley would come in her room and, tell us just your song, I think.
Oh my
maybe.
gosh, my song. Marie was sometimes confused while we were taking care of her. She had her moments. So one day I was standing out in the hallway and I hear her voice. She's just singing and I was like, Marie, what are you doing? She's like, I'm just singing a song. I said, what are you singing? Well, she forgot by that time that she was singing a song. Or she was just in denial, I don't know which one. So then I was listening to her the next day later. She started singing the song again. It's called Carolina Moon. It's by Annette Hanshaw. So I got on YouTube, and I typed in Carolina Moon, and I'm browsing. This song came out in 1920, and I was like, this has to be the song. So I played it for her, and she didn't remember all the words, but at that point we kind of learned it together, and that was our song. We'd sing it. Yeah, we'd sing it almost every day, whenever to get her in a better mood. She was not a morning person whatsoever. It did not happen. And breakfast came in first thing in the morning and she was not happy. But she was my pride and joy. It was
Okay.
a blessing to take care of her and a blessing to be here and to meet all of you and be here as part of this. I can't even explain it. I love her more
Thank you.
like my grandmother than a patient.
Thanks, Ashley.
Thank you.
We love you too.
Well, would you help me a little bit? Was there another house down here in Pitcairn that your mother lived in for a while?
No, that was, he might be thinking of
Down on
whoever lived on 5th Street or 2nd. Back in the 40s,
Uncle Charlie.
Uncle Charlie.
And Phoebe and Uncle Charlie.
They lived on 5th, then they moved
She was
to...
never there, because it seemed to me that this is not the place that I've gone to before.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, no,
No, it's not true.
no.
Okay, so it's just my brain, okay?
It's your brain.
We used to go to see Uncle Charlie and Aunt Phoebe, I think,
Oh, yeah,
once or twice a month.
yeah,
For some reason, we always loved to go down there. And there was just the two of them.
oh, yeah, I remember.
And they had that little apartment up there.
Mhm.
And he was a character,
Yeah.
as we all know.
Yeah.
And,
He was.
yeah.
I remember that.
Dave, you want to say something?
I don't know if I can.
Dave, try. It's fine. Just
Yeah.
pause. There's pauses you can make, whatever.
I don't think.
And
All right.
there's all the other good stuff.
Dave has a lot of memories of her. You've known her your whole life too.
He used to
Growing
stay at
up.
our place in the summertime. We'd switch, going from our place down to his place in North Braddock.
the Mantillas
Oh,
were
yeah.
like the best friends with the Whalens.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's 'cause they were Whalens.
Anybody-
You are a Whalen.
My friend Cindy back here. No, I'll say it for you.
No, she's hiding. We can't see her. She's behind the wall.
Yeah.
No, Cindy and I we were typical mischievous, me more so than Cindy. I admittedly was a rotten teenager with my mouth and my attitude. But she and I were getting into some mischief this one night, and we snuck out my bedroom window, and when we were coming back in, somehow, I guess my mom came into the bedroom and caught us. She was quite angry with us, and she went to slap me, which my mom never laid a hand on me in her life. But I mean, obviously I brought the worst out in her. And she took a swing, and I moved somehow, and she hit Cindy right across the face. And then was horrified that she had done that. And Cindy always forgave her though.
Did you go to school with your sister Cookie?
No, I
That's
went
funny.
to school with Jackie.
Oh, you went to
That's
school
my
with
younger sister.
Cookie knew your mom too. She just said she was the sweetest person she
Yeah.
ever met.
Yeah, she would have known my mom. Well, because she was married to John Couch.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's how Cookie O'Rourke would have known her.
Okay.
Yeah, because she was married to John.
To John.
So.
Well, there's a story a woman told at the funeral home last night. Older lady, maybe 90. She said she was in a card club with Marie back, I guess, in the 80s or 70s, and a younger woman started in the card club. She said she was about in her 50s or something. They were in their 70s, and at the end of the card club, the younger lady told this woman I was speaking to, she goes, "What's that woman's name?" She goes, "Marie Whalen." She goes, "When I get your guys' age, I want to be just like her." She remembers that story, and the woman. It was that lady who left real late yesterday. Oh no, it wasn't Bernie. It was the other lady you hugged when you come out of
I
the.
know who you mean.
Okay,
Ethel Classic.
okay, that was a woman. So that's one story. I got two more. They were recent. The one was when I met Colleen. I met Marie the next day. We're at the camper, or up the trailer, and Colleen had her trailer in Dumont, and Marie's sitting on the couch. We're sitting there talking. She goes, you're a large man, Kurt. How much do you weigh?" And I go, 250. She goes, "You got to lose weight. You have to lose some weight." And I turned to Colleen. I go, "Okay, I know what I'm getting into now." So, and then for 10 years now, I'll remind her of that. She goes, "Do you always have to remind me of that?" So, and then the third one was recent, maybe 2 months ago when you were in Seattle. I came into the stinking nursing home, and I passed Ashley up, and she's Ashley like screamed down the hall at me. I'm like, "Geez, would she shut up? I'm just going to feed your mom." And so I wave, I walk by, so I go in. About a minute later, Ashley walks in with another aide or whatever, nurse, and she goes, "Go in the bathroom right now and turn your pants on the right way. You have your sweatpants on or backwards," because I had the pit emblem. And Mrs. Whalen starts, they're cracking up. She's cracking up. She's saying, "Well, at least, Kurt, you can take this because you're silly anyway." And then she's laughing the whole time I'm there. So that's my 3 stories.
I got a story. I was probably about 14. We had already moved to Florida. I stayed a couple of summers up in Clarion with Papa and Grandma. And we always watched the news, like 11 o'clock news, just the 3 of us. And then after news, he tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, Michael, come down the stairs." So we go down to the basement, and he gets out his 12-gauge shotgun. He says, "I want you to see the flame that shoots out of this thing at night." So it's going on midnight now. So he goes out to the bottom there and just starts unloading. Grandma comes running out on the porch. She's like, Jack, what are you doing?" She's like, "Michael, get away from him. He's a crazy man." Pat looked at me in the back and goes, "That shit don't bother me."
Oh my gosh.
That's good, Michael. That's good. Did you say Vera was
Those are the times I remember, the good things like that, the funny times on her,
Yeah.
the way she acted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially with Dad, right, Dave?
Yeah. I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Especially
My
with my
dad and
dad.
I was telling Michael earlier, we had a cottage in Tionesta, so we would go up there and work. So, Jack was there and he says, come on up to the cottage, so it ended up snowing a lot. So, my dad and I slept there, and we went to bed with our clothes on, you know? So, I could still see my dad walking out. He had his underwear on, and I came out of the other place. I got my underwear on and we're sweating. And Jack comes out and he goes, hey, good morning. And I said, and my dad said, what in the hell? It's like a sauna in here. He must have had that thing 200 degrees. We were soaking wet. I'm telling you, I'll never forget that. And of course, Marie didn't like that. And then he turned around and said, Marie, we gotta get some breakfast, you know, and stuff like that. She was always such a, like a even keeled lady.
Yeah.
You know, just really nice.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. But coming to Irwin, when I was a kid, that was nice. I remember him and John Leo and Gary, and you were little. And that was nice.
That was way back, good times. I remember one time, John Simpers, everybody's remember John Simpers, he was a North Huntington Township cop. So he picks me up down at the school, accuses me of breaking a window in the school down there, throwing a softball through it. Well, it was Terry Kelch that did it, okay? So he takes me home, all right? He takes me in the kitchen, Dad was working, Mom's there, and he says, now your son broke that window at the school. I said, Mom, I didn't break the window. I never said who did. I said, I never broke the window. She ran him out of the house, okay? He's a cop, okay? She ran him out. Says, you get out of my house, you're accusing my son of doing something. He didn't go, get out of here, go now, go, okay? He was gone.
Hey Mike, how about the time we're up there and that dog you had, remember that dog?
Jeff,
Shep or something?
yeah, Jeff.
And your dad says, let's dig this hole. So we dig the hole, remember? The dog didn't fit in the hole. You remember what
No,
we did?
that was your dog up in Greensburg.
Whose dog was that?
No, I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
Mom didn't have nothing to do with that.
That was your dog up in Greensburg, the shepherd. Shane.
No,
That was that knucklehead.
That was
Yeah, that's all
I
him,
know what I'm
Dave.
talking.
That's all him.
That's not a good story.
Yeah.
Not a good story here.
Well, I remember the haircuts though. I remember the haircuts. And I used to go up there with some hair and come home just skinhead. I said, Jack, can you, you know, maybe a little style? And I said,
You didn't wanna go up there too late, Dave, you had to go up early.
No,
But
she had a
him-
great life. She had a great life, she was a great mother.
but Pete was the one though, we didn't want Pete hanging out with us because, you know, he was so good looking, you know, we'd be out there trying to, you know, we were young and everything. As soon as Pete come out of the car, all the women would go crazy. And we used to say, Pete, you gotta just stick around, maybe go play with John Leo or something.
Who was just as handsome.
He was, yeah, that was most, but Gary was something, man.
Yeah, he was handsome.
Me too.
So, your mom was a special lady, really.
I was wondering how your mother did when your dad was in Crescent. Oh, what are Crescent stories, Mike? You would know better because you were the
It was
oldest.
really tough times, as
Oh, yeah.
Uncle Tom, remember,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Aunt Joanne, I mean, we,
I took them, took it for a long time.
We used to have a couple of cars at a
Yeah,
time
we used
going
to
up
take-
there
Yeah.
in the winter
every,
time.
everybody take turns taking mom up there. I remember our rent was $25 a month.
Mhm.
It was a sanatorium.
Dad goes to Crescent, and, they raised our rent to $27 a month, and Mom didn't know how she was gonna pay it.
Right.
We used to,
They all took turns taking her.
Well, the thing that hurt me the most is when we went up to see Jack, you weren't allowed to touch him.
yeah,
That would hurt me more than anything.
Yeah.
You
well,
get
we
to-
couldn't even see
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
couldn't touch him
Yeah.
and everything of that
And
nature.
how strong your mother would
Yeah.
have had to been. to
How
take
long
care
was
of
he
that.
in there?
Yeah, I mean, she had,
She would
I
have
think
this
about a
trouble.
year.
Oh, yeah.
Over a year.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's about a year and a half.
See, now I just thought where's your mom? She or grandma? She would know.
Yeah.
1950.
I just thought that right now. I thought, ask Marie, she'll know.
'Cause he didn't.
Just
John
now, I
didn't
swear to
know.
God. I just thought, Marie will know.
Mom and Dad had this
She always said 2 years.
then.
But I wasn't sure if it was a year and a half, almost 2 years or something. But right there, I did it. I did what we were talking about coming home. Because Amy did it.
The early 50s.
Aunt Colleen did it on the way home about something today or yesterday. Yeah,
Same way as.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's grandma.
Real tough.
yeah, she's not here.
You just went along with it. You didn't. You know,
That's
you
the
did what
whole
you had
thing
to do.
about Mom was her strength, but I think her strength came from her faith.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
She had an unwavering faith. I mean, she buried 2 sons, and that alone would be enough to put you in the crazy house. But she,
But didn't you, after they both were died or killed, however you want to say it, didn't you run over the road?
oh, Uncle Tom, I did, right?
Yeah, and
We
your,
had just
your dad
buried,
was telling me that
John.
if she had killed herself, he'd have killed himself.
Yeah, we had just buried John, and it was
Yeah.
because he died November 30th.
Oh,
John
yeah.
died.
Oh yeah.
And it was shortly, maybe 2 weeks later or so, I was coming home from work and we had a snowstorm and I lost control of my truck on the road and I kind of drove over an embankment. You know, didn't roll or anything, just drove.
Yeah.
You know, the windshield broke and everything, but I, was not hurt. But I mean, that was God's mercy.
Yeah.
It was
Oh, yeah.
because I
Yeah.
know that if something would have happened to me,
Yeah.
my mom and dad just would have been done.
Oh yeah.
That-
Oh yeah.
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 So that's why she was so strong to me, I think, is
Oh,
because
yeah.
of her faith.
Oh yeah.
She never wavered in her faith, no
Yeah.
matter what happened.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be my everlasting.
How many years
Inspiration.
apart were they when they both died?
She lost 2 boys in 6 years,
In 6 years. Okay. Yeah.
73 and 78,
Yeah.
They're both the same age, right?
28, 27.
And it's so weird. You get a kind, gentle woman like that is so strong. She's like,
I mean, she
but
lost
she-
so much in her
you
life.
meet her, she's so fragile,
Her dad
yet
died
she's
when
a
she was
rock.
6 years old.
Grew up
She
without a
never had a
dad,
father.
never had a dad.
Yeah.
Her mother had to work, excuse me, Grandma Findle had to work and
She scrubbed walls, cleaned walls.
cleaned house, but
She lived at your house, Grandma Findle, right?
Yeah.
When we were young.
Mom had a tough life.
Yeah,
She
they
never
did.
But you
complained.
would never know it to talk to her, ever.
She said to Maureen once, Maureen told her she was at this restaurant and she was eating lobster and Mom says, "Oh, Maureen, you was eating lobster. What's it taste like?" Yeah. Maureen says, "Grandma, you never eaten lobster?" "No. What's it taste like?" I mean, and nothing ever bothered her.
No.
I mean, it's
Her life was simple, but it was
Yeah.
happy.